we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Molly Buckley. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Activities and one of the co-chairs of Homecoming and Family Weekend. And we're so excited that you all are taking part of your Saturday to be here with us today and join us for a conversation with the Division of Academic Success. So I'll be turning it over to Allison Neuse, our Dean of Academic Success, in just a moment, but I just wanted to let you know that the chat feature is open. So if you have any questions, I will be monitoring the chat throughout this session, and I'll be happy to voice your question for you. So please feel free to utilize that. And now I will turn it over to Allison.
Good morning. I echo what Molly says. We are so happy to have you on a weekend morning, nothing like a Saturday morning, and happy homecoming. You can't tell, but I wore my Endicott gear for you all, but it's that angle. So I'm really thrilled that you're here to join us for a conversation, and I do want it to be a conversation. I thought that I would first start by giving a little bit of an overview and then handing it off to my colleagues, and then opening up for questions, comments, concerns, complaints, compliments. But I actually have a trick question for anyone who's willing or daring enough. So the Division of Academic Success is made up of 5 centers. Does anyone want to take any guesses as to what those 5 centers may be? You're like, we're on mute and we have to do the chat. But I'm going to let you have a moment because this is fun. Who knew trivia first thing Saturday morning? Any takers? Opening the chat. Okay, so we have the Advising Service Center in no particular order other than alphabetical order, the Center for Academic Coaching, the Center for Accessibility Services. We have a guest, internship. I like that. I wish we were overseeing internship, but we don't. So the 5 centers are Advising Services Center, Center for Academic Coaching, Center for Accessibility Services, Center for Student Success and Retention, and the Tutoring and Writing Center. So we are basically all of the supports outside of the classroom. We're really proud of the fact that all 5 of our centers, and we have many of our directors with us here today, so they'll give you some insight into the individual centers in a minute. But we work really well together to support the whole student from any angle that we possibly can. We also worked really hard last year, sort of putting in place a mission statement for the division so that we had some guiding lights. So I'd love to share that with you all. It is, and I'm going to read it just so that I say it correctly. The division aims to build self-efficacy in Endicott College community members. We foster an inclusive environment that empowers individuals to explore, participate in, and pursue professional and personal interests. So we are really using that as our guiding post to make changes, to develop new programming, to start new initiatives going into this year. That being said, we do believe that we provide an opportunity for everyone in the Division of Academic Success. It is not for one particular student over another. It's for any student who might be working on an outline for a paper or a math problem to a student who's really looking to build their student leadership profile on campus. We essentially pride ourselves in building confidence in every student that comes across our floor. We're on the 2nd floor of the library, if you didn't know. And we really pride ourselves on being their village. So I'm a big fan of the saying, it takes a village. I have a small child at home, and trust me, it takes a village. And we really enjoy being your student or future student or whoever it is that you have at Endicott, part of their village. And one detail I really wanted to give to you that we're also super proud of is that we had 1,931 students work with at least one of our centers last year. So out of 2,800 students, we saw a real big portion of them. I wish I had done the percentages. That would have been good, but I didn't. But this, for me, as the department lead, is a real big testament of what we're doing and what we're offering for each student, and that we really do have a place for every student in our department. And there's a really fun quote that we've been using lately. But our student who actually said the quote is with us, so I'm going to pass it to him in 1 second. In addition to the number 1931, please commit that to your memory because we are so proud of that number. We also employed 254 students across campus as well, which I also think is an astounding number. So again, just that idea that we are a department for anyone and everyone, and there's always a place for a student. So if your student hasn't come to see us, please send them. We love to see them. And clearly we're very happy, friendly, energetic people at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. But I'm going to turn it over to Aiden, who I just met today, but I am so proud that he is one of ours because he has this excellent quote that really, for me, epitomizes what it means to be a student in the Division of Academic Success. So Aiden.
Hi guys. I'll say the quote first. So I don't remember the word for word, but I referred it to as like practice. In sports, you practice a lot. And I saw tutoring as practice, get better at a class. You just go there and you grind, because if you want to get better at something, you have to do it over and over again. So I saw tutoring as a way to get better at your craft. So.
And Aiden, do you want to just say who you are as a student at NWS?
Sure, I would love to. I'm a sophomore nursing student. I'm part of the Ben's FMC leadership team, as well as assistant coaching. I'm also I've been coached in academic coaching, so I'm involved in that as well. Go to the tutoring center a lot. So yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments, concerns at this point, or I can hand it over to a couple of our directors to give you some updates on what's going on in their individual worlds. I guess I need to monitor the chat to be able to see if you have questions.
None right now.
Okay, Amy, since you are next to me on the screen, do you want to give a shout out?
So good morning, and Aiden left out the fact that he's practically a 4.0 nursing student, sophomore nursing student, and he's someone who epitomizes, as Allison was saying, the kind of commitment people bring to our division, in the sense that he is utilizing all of our services, or many of our services across the board, and so excited and really joyful about it. We're pretty excited and joyful to have him. But that's just a preamble to say that I'm Amy Cohen. I'm the director of the Center for Academic Coaching. We partner with approximately 175 students each semester to help those students generate academic goals, execute their plans, reflect on their progress, adjust as needed, persist, and succeed. We provide what we believe is a very caring and consistent environment for those students to pursue their goals. And we also help them to define what academic progress is for them at Endicott, because we know that that term academic progress is unique, or academic success, excuse me, is unique to each individual student. We employ about 25 part-time professional academic coaches because we understand that our students have a range of personalities and needs, and we want to be sure that we can meet range of personality and needs with the professionals that serve them. Underclassmen, first and second year students, make up the bulk of students who utilize coaching, but many students do decide to spend 4 years with academic coaching and with an academic coach. They call it the foundation of their academic experience at Endicott, and many call it the best part of their academic day. We are rooted in theory, but we're committed to absolute up-to-the-minute best practices, and we strive to help students develop their best and most satisfying academic selves. I know I'm biased, but I like to think that our center is the beating heart of the division. I'd like to introduce my colleague, Program Coordinator Ben Horgan. He's going to talk about how we executed the shift from the old Student Support Center to our new Center for Academic Coaching, and also talk about the FMC leadership and other student initiatives that he is spearheading. So take it away, Ben.
Thanks, Amy. Can everybody hear me? Allison, can you give me a thumbs? Thanks, Theresa, for your head nod. So, as Amy said, I'm Ben Horgan. I'm the program coordinator for Center for Academic Coaching, and I'm going to talk about what we call the checkboxes. So we use a system to kind of document after each single coaching session what the main focus of that session was, and these areas reflect the outcomes of coaching. These outcomes are whenever students choose to leave coaching, whether it's after a year or 2 years or when they graduate from Endicott, these are the areas we want them to have grown in, since coaching has evolved from a more content-focused support service to a growth-oriented relationship. So I am going to actually chat some of the examples, current versus past. So some examples of the new areas that we focus on include academic self-awareness, confidence, critical thinking, and time management. Whereas in the past, we are very similar to tutoring or advising, where we focused on course content, on writing, on test prep and test taking skills, and on computation and math, just to give an example. So Amy and I are both very excited about the shift that we have made, because it not only benefits students in the short term and in the current classes that they're taking, but also in the long term and their overall growth. Amy and I have a conversation often about how when students go to their hiring manager for an internship or for a future job, they can highlight how they have grown in all of these areas, because these are skills and these are qualities that no matter what a field student is going into, these qualities or skills are so valued by any employer. So those are the check boxes. And as Adam Wyatt said, he's involved in a group that I lead on campus for students in coaching. There's a question in the chat. I'll let Allison answer that afterwards. But so Aiden's a part of a group that I lead called FMC. FMC is for students in coaching. FMC is an acronym that stands for Foundation, Meaning, and Contribution. So all of these areas are areas that, so Aiden's an assistant coach, which is kind of a new opportunity. There's 15 or 20 assistant coaching relationships that have launched this semester. It's a student-to-student relationship that, in addition to their relationship with their academic coach, is meant to help them create a foundation in their first semester of college, and view Endicott and find Endicott to be their home, away from home. So assistant coaching gives students like Aiden an opportunity to contribute, which is the C in FMC, and then also helps first years to build a foundation, like I said. So it's an exciting opportunity, and Aiden is more than just a nursing student. He is a superstar nursing student who is also a leader on campus, and we're thrilled to have him. And yeah, so I don't know who I'm turning it over to. I'll actually turn it over to Allison to hit some of the questions in the box.
Sure. So how are freshmen encouraged to participate in all programs? So we do a ton of outreach on our part. I like to say that we're the push or the pull factor rather, and the push factor can come from you, can come from a faculty member, can come from the counseling center, can come from anywhere on campus where students are being told, hey, go to the Division of Academic Success, and then we're sort of reeling them in. That happens through just, we are a boots on the ground guerrilla marketing team. So we're always kind of in the students' faces, letting them know who we are, trying to be a friendly face and a welcoming atmosphere so that they feel comfortable coming to us. We also do outreach if they've gotten a progress report. There are many other ways that they kind of come across our radar, and then we'll start sending emails, and again, guerrilla marketing is sort of our best tactic. As far as coaching is a fee-for-service. It is our only fee-for-service program, and it is open to everyone. All 2,800 plus students at Endicott College can engage in the coaching center, but it is a fee-for-service. But if you are interested, I can put the link to register in the chat in a moment. But that would answer the question about it's not tuition-based. Oh, and then Amy. I was like, I gotta read Amy's quote. So let me throw the link in there. But again, it is our only fee-for-service program, but we think very well worth it. Students get paired with an academic coach, and they meet generally twice a week for the duration of the semester. I always joke when I do like parent sessions that the relationship between the student and the coach becomes so entwined that I'm like at graduation with the parent of my coaching student, like crying, like they made it. It's so amazing. Because you really do, if they stick with the program for 4 years, you really build this beautiful, amazing relationship. I am in contact with almost every student that I've ever had for 4 years. They give me baby announcements and shower announcements and wedding announcements. And it is just a really special relationship that is developed over the course of time. So let me get that link. And in the meantime, Brittany, throw to you.
Can everyone hear me? I just want to make sure. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Brittany Potter. I'm the director of the Tutoring and Writing Center and the Advising Services here at Endicott. Before I get to that, I would also like to say that this is my Alumni Weekend, which is really exciting too. Allison and myself and Ben actually are alumna of Endicott here, which is really great. So homecoming holds a special place in our hearts. So, but that's a bit about myself. But I have been with the college now for 3 years working full time, and I'm the luckiest girl on earth to be doing what I do and working with these students. So To start off, the Advising Services Center is really a supplemental support for the student and the faculty advisor. So just to hone in on the student support we offer in advising, it's really individualized meetings to prepare them for their advisor meetings. So whether we train them on my Endicott, how to register when that season comes, which is coming up, strangely enough, in the next few months, or we just have a talk with them about the courses they might want to enroll in for the spring semester or winter term. We do that and we offer that. And again, this is to foster a good conversation before they begin meeting with their faculty advisor here at Endicott. So we're just support and it's free. And everything this semester is remote for the safety of your student as well as us. But again, it's really effective. I find that students are loving this even more and using us even more because it's like a really easy Google Meet link, and it just, you appear and then you get chatting for 30 to 60 minutes. So if your student, as they approach the registration season, which is in a couple months, if they want someone to talk through the electives they might want to take, or maybe they want to add another course or thinking of a different major, we in the division can certainly be, answering those questions, but the Advising Services Center is really there to meet with your student if they really would just want to brainstorm with someone as they enroll in their future courses, which is really important. And I always stress to every student I meet with that it's their education and they really need to take, an independent approach to this, meaning that they need to reflect within themselves what their interests are, what they have challenges in, what they have successes in. So we really try to think of the strengths of the individual, and then we have conversations with them about how future courses can apply in those areas. So again, if your student needs any advising support, we are here free of charge, and you can certainly email me as well. So that's the first center that I oversee. The second one is rather robust. So we are the Tutoring and Writing Center here at Endicott. Again, it is a free service and we are open 52 hours a week. The only day we're closed is today, so on Saturday. We have yet to find that students would like to attend tutoring sessions on a Saturday, but you never know. We're very flexible. So again, like I said, all appointments right now are remote. But pre-COVID, we had a mixed offering. So we did some online services as well as in person. But again, pre-COVID, predominantly like 90% of what we did was in person, one-on-one, sitting next to each other or across from one another. So the biggest change, if we have any alumni on this call, which I hope we do, the biggest change this fall is that we combined what was once the Tutoring Center and the Writing Center. We just combined them to be one center. We have a really, really nice new center, so it just made sense because we were all of us tutors were in the same room, and we just wanted to provide consistency for not only the students at Endicott, but for my staff as well. So basically, the center provides content tutoring and writing tutoring, as the name kind of implies, right? So content tutoring, I guess the biggest challenge is understanding the difference, but content tutoring is any material that really hones in on, science, math, history, like the finite details and the understanding of the critical thinking concepts. So all of our tutors are either peer or professional in this part of the center. They are also based and hired on major or content area. So statistics, nursing, like Eden was referencing, biology, statistics, hospitality, you name it. We have tutors for your students, and again, free of charge. So in that part of the center, I have about 60 peer tutors. So if your student is interested in being employed by the Division of Academic Success, I would love to have them apply after their first or second year here. And they do get paid, and they do not need to qualify for a work study in order to apply to become a peer tutor. it's a great process for student development and leadership as well. They actually go through a rigorous training program by the College Reading and Learning Association, and they get to add that to their, ever-evolving resume as an Endicott College student, which is really great. So again, we have content tutors as well as rating tutors, which is the second half of the center, which is very important as well. We have tutors who are trained on all the rating disciplines across the college here. So a lot of your students enroll in a first year English course, and we do have tutors for that class, as well as they progress through their education here and do their senior thesis. So we can help them with resumes, cover letters as they go on to their internships, really whatever it may be. And the biggest thing we stress is that you don't need words on a page to come to the Tutoring and Writing Center. You really can start with nothing. We are here to brainstorm with you. Even if you're maybe struggling to understand the assignment, we can talk that through with you. The only thing we stress is that we are not editors, we are collaborators. We do not write on pages or make red marks. We, again, are collaborating and conversing with your student, never typing for them or anything like that, because our end goal in the Tutoring and Writing Center is for them to be independent learners at the end of the day, and for this to help them as they progress through college. And again, so the total staff is made up of peer content and rating tutors, and then professional content and rating tutors. So as a whole, we have a staff of about 100 tutors, again, open 52 hours a week. And right now our model is remote tutoring. So your student can sign up online through our tutor chat platform, which maybe Allison can put that link up there for you if you want to share it with your student. That would be great. And again, like she said, we support so many different students, and it's not just a student who's struggling, ever. We don't specifically market to students who are struggling. We market to every Endicott College student, because you will find that the faculty here want any and every student to attend a tutoring session. And like Eden pointed out, it's because if you were an athlete, your coach would say you should practice. And as a student, you should continue practicing your material. So that is the goal here in the Tutoring and Writing Center, as well as repetition, consistency, and more confidence as they move forward. So again, I'm super excited. I love the work that we do here, especially in the division. We actually were just recognized by the association our center is certified through. The College Reading and Learning Association just awarded one of my previous senior peer tutors the National Peer Tutor of the Year Award, which is a really high accolade. Larger institutions typically get recognized for that, but we, Endicott, got it, which was so remarkable for us, and I'm super proud of our center and the support we can give your students. And we're going to get recognized at their national conference in November, so we're looking forward to that as well. But does anyone have any questions? It was a lot. So again, all of the services that I just overviewed are free, remote this fall semester. But again, we're just here really to support and collaborate with your student in advising, content, or rating as they progress here.
As Brittany is mentioning, tutoring and writing and academic coaching is remote. To put it into perspective for you, we could have upwards of like 14 tutors in the Tutoring and Writing Center at a given time. So we could be running about 28 sessions at a time. With the social distancing max capacity of the Tutoring and Writing Center, we would only be able to offer 9 sessions in a given hour, which is almost a third that we normally would be able to provide. So we really wanted to be able to keep up with the pace of students requesting appointments, which usually we end up with a waiting list. And to give you perspective, the Tutoring and Writing Center last year did 1,645 visits. Had 1,645 individual students come through their doors for over 10,000 visits. So they get very busy. And so the ability to maintain the same number of appointments in a given hour was really important to us, in addition to the safety and the rules that are set in place at Endicott. And then the same goes for coaching. We would have been not able to accommodate everyone's hours, and we like to be very flexible with people's schedules. So that decision was made. Someone asked, how are people, I feel like it was so long ago now. someone asked, oh, is there an intake process? So if a student is referred to us through an advisor, a faculty member, the counseling center, student activities, various offices on campus, they generally get referred to one of us as the directors, and we do an informal, I suppose, intake process. We ask questions, you know, what's going on in your life, and then we make recommendations from there. I often will ask students if they've had an IEP or 504 in high school, and to see if they should be registered with accessibility services. If they're really struggling to figure out where their life goals are going educationally wise, we'll send them to the academic coaching. If they are just behind in a class or really want to stay on top of their coursework, we'll refer them to the Tutoring and Writing Center. Again, we work all of our centers so closely out together. It is rare that a student isn't somehow involved in all of our centers. So it is, again, because we are their village, and so we want to be coming at them from all the different angles that we provide. I think that answered the question. I did put the link in for academic coaching and to sign up for tutoring in the chat. And Amy also discussed the intake process for academic coaching, which is more robust than what I'm describing, just as a general referral. And then Theresa is our last director with us today. She wants to just give us a few ideas of what she's been working on in the past year.
Sure. So hi, everybody. I'm Theresa Mcgrath. I'm the director of the Student Success and Retention Center, or Center for Student Success and Retention. I primarily work with students who are at risk of leaving the college. So whether that is academic or residential, social, I meet with students who are referred to me from all across campus. I talk to a lot of parents. So I work with students who are struggling, you know, and I help them connect to resources across campus. I work very closely with the other centers within the division. I do a lot of the referring to the other centers. But a lot of times I'm really just a resource for students and parents, faculty and staff. You know, because I'm connected to pretty much every office on campus, I'm able to really be that one-stop shop for parents and students that have questions about, you know, what's available to them, you know, if maybe their major isn't the right choice, or if they're trying to navigate finding their fit socially on campus. So I meet with students on a variety of issues. Another part of my job is I work with students who are leaving the college. So if they're transferring, or if they need to take a semester off, I process the leave of absences, and then I help students when they want to return back to the college. So getting them, you know, re-registered back into classes, housing, all of that stuff. So one thing that I've been working on this year, we've been working closely with the JED Foundation and the Counseling Center to we're working on creating a medical leave of absence policy that I hope will be available next year. So that will be, you know, something that I think will be another great resource for our students. So something that we're really proud of. We're really here to support students. We're kind of we like to brainstorm. I think that, you know, students that come to our offices usually leave, you know, with a plan in place for success. And we work with students from, you know, freshman year all the way through senior year.
Awesome, thank you, Theresa. There was a question about, do these services supplement or replace the immediate class support? So we definitely do not replace, we are always supplemental. And we often tell students to make use of their professor's office hours. Our faculty are so understanding, and the more a student is communicative with the faculty member, and also just so you know that anytime they come to a tutoring or writing appointment, the faculty member is notified, and students really love that feature because it shows the faculty member that the student is taking initiative, taking ownership of their education outside the classroom on their own accord. We do have faculty members who refer or provide extra points or whatever extra credit for coming to the Tutoring and Writing Center, but that is not a major reason why students come. It is usually of their own choosing, and then the faculty members are super impressed. So to circle back, our faculty are very supportive, and so the more you're communicating and being open and honest with them, the better relationship you'll have and the more successful you'll be in the class. So we always tell our students that, and so they're also part of the Students Village, and so we want to work with all of the members of the village to beat that cliche down. Summer, and then do all students meet with their advisors during the early fall? In such a meeting, students initiate. Is such a meeting student initiated? So we have pre-registration season, which for seniors should be starting relatively soon. Freshmen is usually like the early November, happens before Thanksgiving break, but the faculty advisors will reach out to all of their advisees and encourage them to make an appointment. And then they'll come, they'll talk about course selection, you know, what are your hopes and dreams? Do you want to study abroad? Do you want to become a CPA? All of those questions to make sure that they're staying on track and completing the requirements of their degree to completion. But it shouldn't be student initiated. It should be faculty advisor initiated and happen during that pre-registration. The faculty members actually have to go in and clear a student. So that to them says, we've met, we've talked, we've discussed, they're on the right path. They can go in and register themselves. Oh, good. I'm glad someone is loving me beating to death the village scenario. Yeah, any other questions? We're kind of done with our spiel. Hopefully that gave you some food for thought, and maybe some questions are bubbling up for you. Yeah, let us know. We're here. I guess this is where the conversation part can start, except for you all can't talk. That's okay though.
Allison, did we want to give any more information about accessibilities?
Oh, thank you. Yes. So Christy Gladys, who's the director of accessibility services, couldn't join us today. She's actually touring colleges with her son. So she, obviously, if you are familiar with academic accommodations in the classroom from high school, we provide the same opportunities, level playing fields, getting students to be at the same level as their peers. So we have a lot of accommodations in place. The most heavily used is extended time, where students actually take their test in the testing center with us, which was newly renovated last year. So it is a beautiful space. That is the only service right now that we are still providing in person. But we obviously have to limit the number of students taking a test at a given time, though we have 3 rooms, so it hasn't been a problem so far. So students will get time and a half or double time, be able to take it in a reduced distraction environment, as well as they're not in the classroom sort of watching their peers hand in their papers, and that can add anxiety too. And then the second most heavily used accommodation is peer note-taking. So we hire approximately 150 or so students to be peer note-takers in the classroom. So they take notes, they either, if they do it on the computer, they email them to us. If they take them on paper, they take a picture of them and it becomes a PDF. And then we manually put it in the student's folder. So it is an anonymous system. So the peer note taker never knows the student that they're taking the notes for, and the student who's getting the notes doesn't know who their peer note taker is. Sometimes the students figure it out, for better or for worse. Then sometimes they can say like, hey, I really liked when you took the notes this way. Could you keep doing that? But they do have to go through us. And so in that way, we're able to do an audit and make sure that the notes are at a standard that is appropriate for a student who needs notes. I'm seeing the chat bubble up. Can I repeat the name? Oh, Brittany said Center for Accessibility Services. Honoring and accommodation. They want to email Christy Gladys. I will put her at Endicott. So she's the director. Thank you, Brittany. And if the faculty member is not honoring it, they certainly want to reach out to Christy, because they're not allowed to do that. Let them know what they need to do to make sure that they are honoring the accommodations for any and all students. Any other questions, thoughts, musings? Perfect. There we go. What is the dynamic between the academic advisors in your centers with regard to providing assistance guidance for specific majors? Example, my daughter is in the interior architecture program, and I'm curious how she would be encouraged to develop skills like public speaking and presentation skills for design, presentations, etc. Okay, so I'm going to address between the academic advisor and your center. So there are some majors and schools that rely heavily on the Advising Services Center, which Brittany can speak to as well. And so they'll send students to us first and say, hey, you know, get this out of the way, that out of the way, so that we can have a more deeper, meaningful conversation in our assigned time. We are working on making, Brittany specifically is working on making the Advising Services Center a more robust center. We had a 143% increase in student visitation last semester, but that was really like from 4 students to 15 students. But she's working really hard, again, boots on the ground, doing advising workshops, working with the deans of the schools. So that is a work in progress, but coming along very nicely. As far as encouraging her to develop public speaking skills and presenting skills, that is worked on in individual classrooms. We have, as an elective, a speech course. A lot of students do take it usually in like their junior or senior year. It gets filled up pretty fast because students realize it is a skill they need. And then presentation skills for designing, that certainly happens in the classroom as well. Students have no end of opportunities to get up, speak in front of their class, show off their artwork, show off their presentation skills if it's a different major, different school. That probably happens in 80% of the classes, probably the more upper, like sophomore, junior, senior level classes. But that is definitely something as a school, all of the majors and classes are working towards. Anyone else want to jump in on that? Amy?
Many students, and please, I think Brittany can provide support on this, do go to the Writing Center to practice presentation skills. So because it has something to do with language, with words, with your ability to express yourself, the writing of tutors, the professionals especially, and the peers too, because of the number of presentations they themselves make in the classroom, are terrific allies and supporters of students as they work to develop their skills.
I also think business does a really good job in the first years, which Brittany can definitely talk about.
So beyond the rating side though, that's why we have content tutors. So I have about 7 interior architecture tutors that are content oriented, who again have been in the classroom, which is a really great part of our service here in the Tutoring and Writing Center. So we do have students who, upon crafting a presentation, will come to the center, again, remotely right now, but join us and present and do a practice run with our content tutors. We do it for the entire first year business school class and cohort, and we do it for anybody. It's not just on the rating side, it's the entire center that does it. So, so we can certainly help with that. But yeah, in terms of your first question about the dynamic, we make sure in the Advising Services Center that we are aligned with what the academic advisor wants for the student, so that there's no confusion, right, in messaging for your student. We want the best team village for your student, and to make sure the messaging is all aligned. So we don't make decisions for students. We just encourage them to kind of ask the right questions, think about what they've experienced thus far, so that they can then maybe talk about public speaking with their advisor, and they're not so focused on like how they add classes and the transactional issues that can arise. But again, we make sure just in the division too that everything is aligned with the faculty member or their athletic coach or their academic advisor as well.
I want to emphasize, someone said they appreciate that we focus on student growth and not just content. That is definitely something we have switched gears to in the last couple of years, is focusing on not necessarily that remediation, which does carry with it stigma, and some students won't want to come to tutoring, won't want to come to academic coaching, won't want to use their accessibility services accommodations. And we're really trying to steer students away from that and have them see this as an opportunity for student growth and development, with the added benefit of, if you do need to brainstorm a paper, like, we're here to help you with that as well. So it is really important to us, and we've been actively making moves to move in that, continue to move in that direction. Jennifer said, is there any drop-in type of service for the OX need help now, even if remote? Brittany, do you want to talk about that?
Yes, to answer your question, there's always drop-in. So we do have, like I mentioned earlier, a scheduling platform that your student can access wherever they are on or off campus. So if your student is, sitting in their residence hall and saying, I need a tutor in the next 5 minutes, they can go on to this scheduling software, or they can call us, me, email me, whatever it is. Or truthfully, they can physically come up to our floor, socially distanced with a mask on, of course, and ask for us to schedule an appointment for them. And we would be happy to. We have tutors literally on their schedule 24/7. I make sure that they're on there and ready for a drop-in, which again is just ensuring that if you need it in the next 2 minutes, they're on there and ready to meet with your student remotely. And we can do that for advising, again, content tutoring and writing tutoring as well. So yes, to answer your question.
Though we would always encourage making an appointment, right, Brittany?
We don't always encourage it, but they're ready. So yes, we get the exactly what your terminology is. Oh, sugar, I need help. And that's what we're here for. So definitely.
But towards the middle of the semester, even now, the appointments are starting to book up. So we encourage students to make appointments early and often, and then either, we don't like when they cancel, but we'd rather them try to get in and get what they need than be last minute trying to figure out if they can make an appointment, especially when we start getting, which we are getting extremely busy now. And then there might not be that open drop-in appointment.
Another option I did not mention, which I should have, is that every student at Endicott has the ability to make weekly recurring appointments with either a content tutor or a writing tutor. So if they really liked spending time with me in a content tutoring appointment and they felt that, again, this would help them build their confidence and become more independent as they progress through the content material, we do that free of charge. So if they wanted to meet with me every Monday from 4 to 5 p.m., they could make that appointment and have it locked in for the rest of the semester. And they can do that up to three content appointments recurring and 3 writing appointments. So essentially 6 appointments every week if they wanted to. And again, we're really proud of that and have noticed really great success rate for those students. And again, building their independence and their self-confidence in the content and writing material. So I highly encourage that as well.
You're probably noticing that means we don't offer students unlimited tutoring and writing appointments. And again, it just goes back to we also serve the graduate students, so we really serve 6,000 students. And so to be able to offer the opportunity to everyone, we did put into place a couple of years ago the 3-and-3 rule. But most students are fine with that, so it works for them. There's our one stipulation. Other questions, comments, concerns? Thank you for all that you offer students and families. We're happy to do it. If you can't tell, we are a very passionate group of people. And we really enjoy our jobs and working with your students, so.
And we certainly, too, students who use our services, I think Eden can speak to this if he wants to. We really, even though they go to tutoring, and I know in previous years of education, there's a stigma surrounding support services such as the ones we offer. But I know that Eden wants to be a peer tutor, and I think that's what's so exciting about this support that we offer in the division, that students are using us because they know it's important, but they also want to help other students, and they're that confident in their knowledge that they want to do that in the future. Right, Eden?
Yeah, it's all about giving back. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
I like to joke that I like to be Oprah. You get a job and you get a job. We can't hire everyone, but 254 students on campus is a pretty big number that we employ. But we would love to employ anyone and everyone.
I'd like to echo what Allison said about opportunity. Many of the students who work with us in coaching, including Aiden, are leaders in their particular school or in their department of study. They're students who graduate with highest GPA, with the thesis awards, and so on. So they understand and recognize that the desire to partner with someone to learn and grow and develop through their college years is an incredible opportunity. And it's a wonderful thing that we watch them, as Allison said. We're all crying at graduation with the families and with the students because we're so proud of the commitment that they've made. But that's one of the ways in which, and I've been with the division for quite some time, one of the ways in which it's changed so profoundly over the last 5 years. It's been wonderful to see students realize that they don't have to learn alone, and that learning is a cooperative social experience. that can really help them grow and mature.
And a lifelong endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
If no other questions, we can give you 13 minutes back in your day. Hopefully it's starting to get brighter out. I'm noticing the sun peeking out here, so hopefully everyone can enjoy some beautiful fall weather, as we all would if we were on campus, which we're very sad, to Brittany's point. It also would be our homecoming. It would be my 10-year anniversary homecoming from graduating. Now you can figure out how old I am. But yeah, we are sad, and we are very much looking forward to the day where we can all be together on campus again, not 6 feet apart and not seeing half of people's faces. The benefit of this is you all now know what I look like, because there are some people on campus who are new and still only know what I look like from here out. All right, well, great. Thank you so much for joining us again. Happy homecoming. Enjoy the rest of the day. Hopefully you get to go to some other awesome sessions. If you have any questions, I did throw my email in the chat. Please feel free to email me. Everyone else, email us. We have a great, robust website, which I probably should have thrown up there as well, which I can try real fast to do. And all of our contact information is there as well. And we, again, would love to chat, email, call us. We're available, whatever you may need. Let me throw our whole website up there so you can find all of our centers very quickly. There you go.
And I'll echo what Allison said. If you need any of this content, this session was recorded, please reach out to homecoming@endicott.edu if you need links that you didn't get. That is also a hub that you can reach out to. Or if there's anything else in the weekend that you want to see, reach out to Homecoming. We'll point you in the right direction.
Thank you so much.